What's going on, guys? It's Ninja from Ice Media.
And my name is Kabir Chawal.
And introducing our very first guest, he doesn't just sell watches, but he's redefining hustle. A young entrepreneur with a winning mindset. Please welcome, on the Tip of the Iceberg podcast, Jagdesh Birdi, better known as Jag the Watch Dealer.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jag the Watch Dealer. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, great. I'm happy to be your first guest. I didn't know that until I got here. And I'm pretty honored to be the first guest on the podcast.
Well, of course, man. It's great to have you. We know we had a long-standing relationship.
Yeah.
So really excited to get you on the pod. But first things first, to anyone who kind of doesn't really know you, just give a little bit of backstory.
Yeah, for sure. So, backstory. I am 27 years old. I've lived in Brampton for over a decade. I started watch dealing almost 2 years ago now. I want to say officially January 2024. That is my business. Along with my business, I'm also a scientist. So I'm an epidemiologist. I went to school, did my undergrad, did my master's. So that's kind of like my Monday to Friday day job. For anyone who doesn't know, in a nutshell, epidemiology is the study of like disease trends and patterns. So whereas a doctor kind of looks at health one-on-one, we're looking at population health, public health. So if there's like a flu going around in like one pocket of Brampton, it'll be like my job to figure out why is it going around, where did it start, how can we better like protect the public, what are sort of like public health measures we should put in, whether it's advertising, flu clinics, that sort of thing. And then on weekends, I also work as a clinical researcher at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto. Wow. So I've always had a science background, always had a really big fascination with science and learning things about the world. And I've also had a really big passion about watches. So I do all three.
Amazing, man. And explain how you go from scientist to luxury watch dealing, epidemiology to flipping Rolexes. Like, how does that kind of...
How does that work?
Yeah.
So like, okay, let's go way back. Like it's high school, it's grade 12. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Originally, I thought I wanted to do engineering because I like to tinker a lot. I've always been into tech, into mechanics. I would like take things apart, put them back together. Always been into Lego. Been into like cars was probably like my first passion ever. So I went to uni thinking like, oh yeah, I like science, I like engineering. Went to school, second semester, first year, absolutely hated it. First semester, fantastic. Second semester, hated it. Kind of like I was crashing a lot of my friends' classes. Their bio, their physics, their chem, whatever, biosci, all of that. And I'm like, not only was that really good, it came in naturally to me, probably just because of like that innate interest that I had. Like growing up, I read a lot of like encyclopedias for fun, just like always Googling new things about science, diving into whether it's animals or like natural phenomena, whatever the case is, right? So switched career paths. It wasn't until the end of university undergrad where I really took a couple of epidemiology courses that the University of Guelph had to offer. Shout out Griffins. And the reason I liked it so much was it felt investigative. It almost felt like I was like a private detective, because you're like, oh, yo, there's like a bunch of people who are sick. They're sick with an unknown disease. They have these symptoms. They were at these spots. So you would literally go interview each person and be like, hey, what did you have to eat? Or where were you at this time? What are your symptoms? And then you can figure out things like the incubation period or the latent phase, which are just terms for when someone was sick, when someone wasn't sick, how long their symptoms lasted. And from there, you kind of like trace back the steps and you can figure out like, oh, like Ninja was at this party, he had salad. KB, you were there, you also had the salad. You both got sick. Okay, now I'll test the salad. I find this pathogen in it. Maybe it has E. coli. Okay, it has 3 or 4 ingredients. Now I'm going to go find out who were the makers of those ingredients. Go back to their factories, find out like, oh, the lettuce factory, they bought a supply from, I don't know, Colombia, for example. And their farm has runoff from a cattle farm. And the cattle, which have E. coli in their bacteria, gets into the water, gets to the lettuce, came all the way here to Canada. Now you guys are eating it, you got sick. So that whole sort of dynamic I found extremely interesting. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So to kind of get into that field, you need a master's. So right after my undergrad, I took a year off, trying to figure out what I want to do, working, then did my master's in epidemiology. And then I've been working as an epidemiologist since last year. I graduated 2024, April, from my master's. Worked federally, worked provincially, now I work locally. Now going to watches, how do the watches come along? Watches have always been part of my life. Literally my earliest memories of me being in kindergarten, junior, senior, I had a watch on my wrist. It was a digital watch. I don't remember if it was a Casio or a Timex, but I would play like imaginary games with it as like a kid does. So either I'm a spy and it has gadgets, or like I'm in the military and it has weapons. And I've had it for like probably 2-3 years. When my family moved, I lost the watch in the move. And I was like, I remember being so sad. I didn't care about any of my toys. Like, yo, I lost my watch. I was so sad. So after that, whenever my family would go to like a mall, I would always try and find it just kind of like on my own. Could never find it. And I guess that interest died because I couldn't replace it. Fast forward 8th grade, G-Shocks are cool. Everyone wants one. I'm like, I want to be cool. I want a G-Shock. So saved up a little bit of money, bought a G-Shock. That kind of reignited that interest in watches. I get to high school. I'm like, yo, this is a kid's watch. And they're also really big. And I'm like 14 years old. It's too big for my wrist. Found Fossil. It was rose gold. It was blue. It looked really nice. I bought it from TPO, actually. Oh, wow. And wore that. Got a lot of compliments on it. And then from there, whenever I get into a hobby, I really take like a deep dive. Like I go down that rabbit hole. I want to know why do I like it so much? What is the history? How were watches invented? What is their purpose? Like, why should I care about it? I discovered other brands. I started buying a watch every single year, one by one. Built my own personal collection of just like nothing in my collection is over $1,000 because I was buying in high school and like early university. And as I'm gaining this knowledge and my own interest, I'm consuming a lot of watch media. So these are YouTube videos, these are reels, these are shorts. And through that, I'm like picking up on what people are saying, and I can understand reference numbers, I can understand nicknames, I can understand the history. And a lot of times these creators were incorrect. I'm like, oh, this guy said like a bluesy is reference 126613LB or LN, sorry, but it's actually LB, right? And we can talk about that later. Or someone is saying this watch is worth this much when it's not, or like someone got the history on the incorrect year that a brand was started, or they thought that a myth that a brand had was fact. And I used to talk my best friend's ear off about this, and he was like, yo, you know so much, why don't you like just jump into it? I'm like, how? I can't afford a Rolex, like I'm in school. How am I gonna buy one to sell one? And he's like, yo, we'll figure it out. Let's like come up with your brand, let's come up with your business model, and we'll take it from there. So I did that all like Q4 2023, figured it out, started officially January 2024. One of my best buddies gave me a chance. He was like, yo, I want a Rolex. You're my boy since high school. Like, he gave me $18,500 cash, and he trusted me. I bought the watch, came back, delivered it to him, made a whole video about it. It's one of the earliest ones on my page, and I haven't looked back since.
Amazing, man. Just take me back through your process. Like, do you think your upbringing, the way you kind of approach situations, how you talk about being an epidemiologist, you have to kind of investigative work, you have to uncover a lot of things, but then also going back into how you said, when you find a passion, you like to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Do you think those traits are because of the way you were brought up and your upbringing? Or is it something you kind of just developed over the years naturally through maybe school or being around your friend circle and whatnot?
That's interesting. I would say the natural curiosity I've always had. I think it's been literally since birth, because growing up, I would, again, read a lot of like encyclopedias, things about science, books, and a lot of nonfiction. And I never knew why I enjoyed it. I couldn't really explain why, but that innate curiosity was always there. The enjoyment of learning more was always there. And I think that naturally applies to like certain passions that I have. So like start off with cars, growing up with like Hot Wheel cars. So I would dive into that and learn more about those. From there, I went on to sneakers, and I was dive into sneakers, and then from there naturally became watches. So it's just sort of like an innate curiosity that I've always had. And I really can't explain why. And I still have it till this day, and it kind of will like change from whatever like my current interest is. But yeah.
So do you think that willingness to always wanting to learn more is the reason why you're so successful in your industry today?
I think so. Because I think as soon as you think you know everything is when progress will stall, and you'll start to fall behind. Things are changing constantly every single day, month to month, year to year. And I think you always have to have that desire to learn, regardless of what career you're in and what you're chasing. Because new things will always come out. People will invent new things. New strategies will come out. The market is always changing. Yeah. And progress is like movement. So if you think you've learned everything, you're not learning, you're not progressing.
Interesting.
Okay. Now, going back to obviously watch business, you said you started 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago now.
Almost
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, when you first started, you said that your friend gave you $18,000 to get a Rolex for you. That was
Yeah.
your first purchase?
That was my first Rolex purchase. Yeah. Before then, I sold it like a couple. I sold my own watch, kind of just to
Yeah.
like see how the transaction goes.
Uh-huh.
Sold a couple of like few $100 watches to
Yeah.
friends. But that was my first big purchase and sale, and first big Rolex sale.
Now, how hard was that? Especially, let's say, like going back to the Rolex. How
Yeah.
hard was that to sell?
Uh,
Or sorry, to
honestly,
buy.
honestly, not that hard. Like I was surprised at how easy it was. I think part of it was because I was interested in watches. I had joined a lot of watch groups already. So whether these are Facebook groups, these are Reddit groups, these are Reddit pages, Discord accounts, or groups. So I was seeing people on there selling all the time,
Yeah.
right? On like a variety of watches, entry level luxury, mid-level luxury, ultra luxury. So when I jumped in, I'm like, okay, I kind of am in. I see the resource. Let me just now starting conversations with these people.
Yeah.
So it was a lot easier than I expected.
Mhm.
And that person that I bought from actually also like mentored me a little bit. Cause like
Wow.
this person actually got really pissed off at me because he
Oh.
was just cause he was like, yo, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't want to sell it to you anymore. And I was like, yo, listen, brother, like this is my first time doing this. I don't have any mentors, any experience. Like, I'm just trying. Right. So like, cut me some slack. And he was like, okay, like, let me tell you how kind of like how to like at least do this single transaction. So he showed me in terms of like the range of what you want to buy in, how to do a reference check, how to validate who's real, who isn't. And I'm like super grateful for that. I'm still in contact with him today. But it was, again, like not as hard as I thought at all. And it surprised me because I got it done in like a couple of days.
So
like-
for you, how important is it in business to have or find that mentor? Because obviously breaking into this industry, you really just did it just because you just
Yeah.
started, which is great. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't take action.
Mhm.
They get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Mhm.
And that's the reason a lot of big business owners are successful, is because they took action.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
So to you, to answer like the question is, how important is having that mentor?
That mentor was extremely important because, again, if this person decided to not, if they were pissed off at me and they're like, yo, I don't want to do business with you, they could have just left it there and I would have lost the sale. And I think, again, like you can't do anything in this world alone, regardless of what field you're in. Someone got, like that person got to that position of power or that position of whatever wealth because of other people. So like, for example, this, like my friend took a chance on me, right? I didn't do that alone. I didn't buy that watch alone and sell it alone. He took that chance on me. The dealer that I was dealing with, he was like, okay, I'll sell it to you and I'll teach you. So he took a chance on me. So I think finding people who are experienced that you can learn from, whether it's one thing, 10 things, is super important. Even like if you think about it, all throughout life, you're learning things from your parents. You're not going through life alone. You don't feed yourself. You don't clothe yourself. You have your parents like teach you that. Then you get into school, your teacher's teaching you about the world. Then you grow up, you go into your field, you're learning things from employees, coworkers that have more experience than you, managers who have more experience than you. So it's like extremely important, whether it's a mentor for a day or it's a mentor for years. Finding someone that you can speak to, I think is like extremely important, and everyone should look for one, regardless of like where they are.
So do you think those people who took a chance on you just because out of luck? Because a lot of people don't really get that opportunity for them to get that chance taken on them. So what would you say to people to get those opportunities?
I would say doors don't open for you. You got to knock them down. So the guy who was originally like pissed off at me and then he gave me a chance is because I told him like, hey, this is where I'm coming from. Like, I'm passionate. I'm not a quick flipper or whatever. Give me a chance. Had I just like left that conversation as is, like, oh, he doesn't want to do business with me, that's fine. It wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So I think that it comes down to action. Like again, kick those doors down, start conversations. Like, you will stay in the same spot that you are, whether you do something or if you get a no. So you might as well try. Because if you get that yes or you get that opportunity, it could change your life for real.
Okay. How often were you hearing no's when you first started compared to now?
A lot more, especially amongst dealers who've been doing this for multiple years.
Yeah.
I can recall like messaging someone like, hey, you have this watch for sale. Like, would you take this price? No. Or like, are you negotiable? No. Or like, hey, I want to sell this to you like at this price. No. And a lot of those same people were probably thinking like, yo, this is a random kid in my DMs, don't know him, no history, like it's probably wasting my time, which is understandable if you're operating at like such a high level. Like you want to cut out as much bullshit out of the way as possible. Now, because I have that experience, I've been making videos, I've been building my credibility. Those same people are now DMing me and messaging me and like sharing my name with other dealers. And like you guys said, like we spoke about this off the pod where the Somo brothers had good things to say about me because I've been able to communicate with them, deal with people that they know, and really just like build my name and my reputation out there.
That's amazing, man. So in terms of obviously hearing those no's, like you said, what made you keep pushing? Because a lot of people quit. A lot of people quit right when they hear their first no, their fifth no, 10th no.
Yeah.
Why'd you keep going?
Yo, I'm stubborn and I'm persistent. And it used to be something that my mom said to me all the time growing up. She's like, yo, you're so stubborn. You're so stubborn. You should say it she used to say it as like, as a dig or like at a diss, right? Like, you're not listening to me. Like, why are you asking me why so many times? Yeah. So it's that same stubbornness of being like, okay, I got one no, like, is like, what happened? Nothing happened, right? Like, I'm still in the exact same spot I am. I'm still looking for a watch or I'm still looking for a client. So I got one no, but like, if you know anything about like the laws of power, like the law of big numbers, right? If you do something enough times, like eventually it'll work out for you. Yeah. Right? Like if you're a door-to-door salesman and you're selling anything, you're selling a vacuum, you knock on like 5 doors, you get 5 no's, 10, 20, 30. At some point, like you'll get a yes. Yeah. And that's all the validation that you need. You're like, okay, it worked. So then you're like, yo, I knocked 100 doors, I got 5 sales. So if I do 1,000, I should get 50, right? So that's what it was. I'm like, yo, I have this passion. I sold two $500 watches and I got like such enjoyment out of it. And I was so excited. I got a high. It felt like a high. Like that sale felt like a high. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, it felt so good for the entire day. So if I got one no, I'm like, whatever, like on to the next.
Interesting. And then in terms of when you're getting those wins, those small wins, how important is it for you to celebrate those small wins to keep your encouragement, keep your motivation and your discipline?
It's a good question. I think like as humans, we naturally either live in the present or in the future or the past. We're either thinking about the mistakes that we made or we're thinking about what we're going to do next. You can be doing something now, it works, and then you're already thinking about the next thing, right? Whether it's like, oh, I really want this car. You got it, you're on to the next thing. Or like, I really want to complete this task. For the day you do it, you're already thinking about the next. So I think living in the moment is like hard for us to do, and it's something your brain isn't innately comfortable doing because you're like scientifically your brain's like probably is trying to protect you, right? So you're kind of thinking about what's the next thing that could happen, what are the other possibilities, and you're trying to learn from your past. So I think living the moment is extremely important because so much time could go by and you're like, yo, I never really enjoyed what was going on in the moment. I spoke to one dealer. He's been doing this for 20, 25 years. And I told him, like, what's your biggest lesson that you learned? And he's like, I wish I could go back to the days where I was doing this by myself, making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, because they were so much fun for me. He's like, yo, those years like flew by, and now I'm operating this big company, and we have all these issues that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And he's like, I miss that like childlike joy that I was getting. So every time I do sell a watch, like I sold 2 today, and I'm super happy, I'm super excited, and like I'll take videos and I'll like reminisce and just like remind myself that, yo, I did this from like just out of my own will and my own brute force. Enjoy it and then, move on to the next. Because obviously there's also like paralysis in the moment where you like, oh, I did this, that's awesome. And then like 2-3 days go by and you're not pushing forward. You're just stagnant, which is also the negative side of it. So enjoy it and then also plan for the future and keep going.
Amazing, bro. That's really powerful.
Thank you.
My thing is obviously celebrating small wins, right? It's a big deal, especially for somebody that just started a business. But another thing is just like how a lot of people tend to stop running a business when they hear a no. Same thing when it comes down to making a mistake, right? What's one mistake that costed you, let's say, a lot of money, but it taught you worth more?
Okay. There's a few. There's like a really big mistake that I made that just like was insane. And then there was a smaller mistake that I made that came first. Okay, we'll talk about both. I think I'm comfortable talking about both. So mistake number 1 was I was dealing with this guy and this client, and he wanted to buy a watch for his wife. He wanted to buy a pink Rolex for his wife. And he had a certain budget in mind. And I sourced the watch in the UK. I met this guy through a friend, and he worked at the Rolex 80 in the UK. And he was like, yeah, I can get this watch for you for like a little bit over retail. Perfect. So it's in British pounds. And this guy wanted to send me a USD wire, right? And I'm like, yo, no problem. I can accept that. So I did the conversion from USD to Canadian, and then the British pounds to Canadian. And somewhere along the way, I sent the guy the wrong price. And we agreed on the price. Let's say, I don't remember what it was now. I think I said like $9,000, right, for this pink Rolex, when I should have charged 10 or 10.5. We made the deal. I got the watch in, and the guy sent me $1,000 deposit. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yo, you owe me another 9. He's like, no, I don't owe you 8. And I went back to my chats, and I'm like, oh yeah, like he does owe me 8. And I'm like, I fucked up because I did the wrong currency conversion. And instead of making money on this watch, I was actually losing money. So I went from, instead of making like $800 to losing $1,000. And I was like, well, shit, like I messed up. I gave him my word. Now I have to live by it. And I'm like, this is just like a silly mistake that I've made that could have been super avoidable. I don't know why I made it. Maybe I rushed it. But it was a learning lesson, because in the watch business, you're only as good as your last deal, and you're only as good as your word. Everything is reputation based. So I gave him a price. We agreed on it. I always send out like a contract to sign. He signed it. So I have to live with that. Delivered it to him, and the connection that I made, because this person was a very big producer for movies and TV shows. It like that money that I lost didn't really matter, because he connected me with a lot of people that were either can teach me a skill, or would buy a watch, or were in a position of either power or wealth that I'm not at yet. Mm-hmm. So yeah, sure, I lost a little bit of money, but I made it like a lifelong connection, and a few more from that I can now like tap into, and that can either teach me how to grow my business, can teach me about wealth management, and are people that will probably keep coming back to me. So it was okay. But at the time, it felt like a big loss, because it was the first time I lost money in the business. So it felt like a lot.
100%. What was the second one?
Oh, man. Yeah. The second one is crazy. Yo, I haven't even talked about this outside of my friend circle. Okay, it was this year. It was May. Guy messages me on Instagram. He wants a chocolate day date. Cool, no problem. Found him the chocolate day date. He's like, yo, I want to pay credit card. Cool, no problem. You can pay credit card. I use Stripe. Send him the payment link. Pays me. He's like, yo, I have 2 credit cards. I want points on both. Can you split the payment in half? So I split the payment in half, sent him 2 links, paid me immediately. He didn't have the watch yet. I didn't even have the watch yet. Pays me in full. I go, I buy the watch. I pay in cash. It was $55,000, by the way. So not a lot. Wow. It was a lot of money. And I'm like chilling. I'm like, yo, this guy was like, yo, I'm gonna pay credit card. I'm like, I have to charge you taxes, and I have to charge you credit card fees. Yo, I don't care. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm making bank on this piece. I get it. I send it to him. He's like, bro, I love it. Amazing. He sent me his ID and everything. He's like, yo, now I want a back girl. I'm like, cool. I'm like, okay, let me go source you a back girl. Bought the back girl. A week goes by, and Stripe sends me an email. So they only operate by email. They're like, yo, you have a dispute on your account so I split the $55,000 in 2 payments. So it was like 27 like 5 or 27,750. They're like, yeah, you have a dispute on your account, because someone's saying like there's an unauthorized use of their credit card. I'm like, okay, cool, that's crazy. And I was out at a party too, so like I'm partying with my friends, and I see this, I'm like, what the fuck? Like I owe Stripe like 27 grand. So I messaged, I see what Stripe is saying, and I see that the credit card name holder is not this guy that I sold the watch to. Mm. So then I realize this guy bought the watch with stolen credit cards. The next day, I get the second Stripe dispute for the other half of the money that he bought. So I'm here, and I'm gathering all the evidence. So now I'm like, shit, like, yo, not only did I lose out on this watch, they are gonna take the money from my account, because Stripe is linked to your bank account, so they're gonna take it. So I'm gonna lose the watch and lose the money. So now I'm there. I'm like, okay, I signed a purchase agreement with this person. I have his ID. I have all of our documentation. I put all of it together in a dispute agreement. I sent it to Stripe, and I went to the police. Police are like, yo, the ID is fake, right? They're like, it's a really good fake, but it's a fake driver's license. I checked the address. The address was somewhere in like the GTA. And the phone number, I have a contact, and he searched it up, and he was like, oh, it was like a prepaid phone. So I went to the cops, and the cops were like, yo, like, we can look into it. It'll take like 9 months probably before we even get to it. And he's like, yeah, people come in all the time. Like, a guy came in and like someone scammed him out of $800,000. I'm looking at this cop, and I'm like, yo, I don't give a fuck. I don't get, like, yo, like, okay, how's that helping me? Right? And I spoke with a couple of lawyers, and they're like, yo, honestly, it's going to be pretty tough because you don't have a name, you don't have a face, you don't have an address. Like, you have all this evidence, sure, but like, we have to like physically find this person. This person could be out of the country. This person could be in a different province. The Peel police passed it off on to Montreal police because that's where I sent the watch. And like, Montreal's like in terms of like, if no one knows, like in terms of ports, like all the stolen cars go there, stolen merchandise, jewelry, all that sort of thing happens like Montreal. And that was like the hardest lesson I've ever learned because I got greedy. And I'm like, yo, I'm making so much money on this deal, and this guy's trying to buy 2 watches off of me that I like overlooked steps of security that I probably should have put into place. And at the time, because I was so new, I didn't have business insurance, so it's not even like I could insure the watch and get it paid out. So I lost all of that money. I lost the watch. I don't know what the police are doing about this, if they're doing anything. They did call me and they're like, hey, like, can you tell us a story? They told us a story. They're like, yo, we're gonna pass it on to the Montreal police, but there's like not much else we can do. And after speaking to all these lawyers, I'm like, yo, basically, like, I just got fucked, and I'm not gonna get my money back. I'm not gonna get the watch back. I just gotta learn from it, and I gotta build back it up. And that was probably like a year of savings that I had like put on the side from my work and from the watch business that I was slowly building, right? Because this would have been like about a year into the business. And I'm like, yo, it feels like I'm starting back from zero.
So how do you deal with that type of adversity?
How are you recovering from this?
How?
Yeah.
Still recovering. How? Like, honestly, I was, I don't know. Again, it's just like an innate ability that I have where I'm not going to lie. In the moment, I've never had this physical reaction before to stress where immediately, like, my entire body is hot. I'm sweating. My palms are clammy. Me and my friends were all in like our friend's condo. We're playing, like, drinking games. Like, I'm like, yo, give me a second. I went to the bathroom, just locked the door, like splashing cold water on my face. And I'm like, yo, calm down. Like, it'll get better. And I'm like, this will either be, I either will recover the money, recover the watch, or it'll be a very, very, very expensive lesson, right? You can't do business without taking losses and without having, like, you can't always win. Like, it's just not physically possible. So I was like, yo, this sucks. But now I'm determined to earn it back, but at a much faster rate. So it kind of lit a fire under my ass to be like, yo, go harder, go faster, and put security things into place to protect you. Because, like, there's no way, like, someone can scam me like that again.
So in terms of obviously taking those lessons, in terms of getting business insurance, security in places, how important is for a business owner to systemize their business on all aspects?
Extremely important, because if you have a system for everything that you do, you can essentially automate everything. So if you have a specific sales cycle, you know exactly how you're going to approach a sale. As you can do more at once, and you can also teach that to someone else, and you can bring on an employee. If you have an ads cycle and you know how to run ads for your business, if you systemize it, you can run them more frequently, you can run them faster, and it just becomes like the same way where your brain will try to find shortcuts to do things and automate things. Kind of like when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, all that sort of thing. The same thing will run in your business. So things will run smoother, they'll run faster, they'll run more efficiently, and you can optimize them. If you don't have a system, you are probably running things by brute force. If you're doing things by brute force, it's costing you a lot of time, it's costing you a lot of energy, it can get stressful, and you are probably working a lot harder when you could be working smarter. So finding a system for everything, whether it's something small or something big, is like extremely important. And like the easiest way to do that is just break down whatever task you're doing. Like, how do I approach a sale? Like, how do I find a client? How do I find a watch? What are the steps that I need to do? Doesn't matter how simple it is, whether it's like log into Facebook, go to this group chat, put out a call, or message this person. All those little things will add up over time. So if you systemize your approach, it'll just flow and it'll be easy.
First of all, we're really grateful that everyone who's been watching and been following our story. This is something that's been a long time coming.
The reason we're doing this podcast is to create a community of like-minded individuals that inspire our generation. Growing up, it was quite difficult finding role models who were outside of our friends and family. And it wasn't due to a lack of success within our community. It was due to a lack of representation. So the Tip of the Iceberg podcast is a platform where we share stories of successful South Asians whose stories haven't just been recognized yet.
So if you'd like to see more of these videos, please like and subscribe. Now, actually going back to that problem that you had to go through,
Yeah.
would you say that is the dark side of the business?
Oh, 100%. 100% that's the dark side of the business. And the reason is that, like, if you think about it, like, we have all these watches on the table here, right? You have such high value in such small objects that it's very easy to scam. It's very easy to steal. It's and you can get away with it, like, very easily, because, like, it's almost like gold. Like, the value of gold is so high, and you have this, like, precious object that has a lot of monetary value, and it's very easy to hide. You can hide it physically. You can, like, ship it out somewhere, and it'll be very hard for someone to prove that it was stolen or it was gone, right? So yeah, of course, like, I can see someone, like, washing money laundering through watches, right? Like, how would you prove that it came from, like, a proceed of sale? You can't. And I think it's similar like that with anything super luxurious, whether it's like Hermes, Birkins, whether it's watches, whether it's like very high value cars or art. Because anything that has like a very high innate value, there will be people trying to like scam or trying to steal or trying to rob you for their own personal gain. So that's something that comes with anything in like the luxury world.
So then how does one mitigate that?
Safety checks. So for example, with me now, like, I don't accept credit cards anymore. Like, if you're going to pay me, I need a certified check from your bank. We're going to go deposit it together, or I'll take a bank wire. And I'm going to wait, like, once I receive it, I'm going to wait 48 to 72 hours to make sure it stays, because people can send fake wires. I'll require, like, I need a photo of you, I need a photo of your ID, I need a proof of address, proof of bank funds. We're only going to meet at, like, a police station or... honestly, yeah, like, we're only going to meet at a police station if I don't know you. So by implementing all these sort of security checks, I'm not going to go anywhere alone. That's kind of like how to protect yourself. Obviously, you can't do everything and anything, but the more sort of problems you can mitigate, or the scenarios that you can think of and figure out solutions to keep yourself safe, do all of them. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, people lose lives over, like, expensive watches. People lose, like, limbs over expensive watches, right? And, like, nothing's worth your life. Like, and you want to, like, if this is something I want to do long term. This is something that I want to do exclusively is sell watches. So this is not like a today problem. It's like a future problem for decades.
Yeah. What makes a watch so valuable to you? Like,
to me?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about watches this is like a multi-layered answer. So we'll start with the mechanical side of it. Mechanical watches specifically are some of the only things still left in the world that aren't electric, that aren't electronic, right? So there's little circuits involved, there's electricity involved. They are tiny little machines with parts, with gears, with bridges, with synthetic jewels, with rubies that run off the motion of your wrist. It's almost like a steampunk type of world where everything is mechanical. There's not a lot of that left, right? Apple Watches can have a million more functions than a mechanical watch. But there's like a charm to hearing the watch tick or like winding it every day in the morning and putting it on. That's one part of it. There's nothing really else. Like even engines and cars, right? There's computers in them that will monitor, that will cut power. There's all these electronics to control how the engine operates. So watches are one of the only things left that are entirely mechanical, which is really cool to me because it's like I feel like we're like very mechanical, tactile people, like as humans, and these are some of the things that are also like completely mechanical and tactile. Mm-hmm. The second part of it is for guys. A lot of guys don't like to wear jewelry. Like I like to wear earrings, necklaces, rings, all that sort of thing. A lot of guys don't, and they're not comfortable. Watches can be considered jewelry for men that you can wear every single day. And a part of it is you really only need one and you can be set for life, right? It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be luxurious. But you can wear it for your entire life, and then you can pass it on to your child, right? Or you can pass it on to your grandchild. It can become a family heirloom. It can hold a lot. It's one of the only things that can actually hold memories when we live in a very like consumerist society, and like you want a new iPhone every year, you want a new Apple Watch, iPad every year, you want new drip every year, new shoes, new clothes. But that's one thing that can stay consistent in your life, and there really isn't anything else like that. For anyone really, like women have jewelry, like they enjoy that, but even then there's like new trends and fashions that go on. That's like probably the second part of the answer. And the third thing is like the history is really cool. Like watches were invented for a purpose. Like if you go way back, the first wristwatch for men was invented because Louis Cartier went to Albert Santos went to Louis Cartier. They were boys, and they're like, "Yo, I have all these like I fly my plane. Like I need a watch. Like I need to be able to tell the time." And he's like, "Okay, cool." So he took a watch, made it small, put it on a leather strap, and he's like, "Yo, you can wear this on your wrist." That's how the first men's watch was like ever invented. Was Louis Cartier, and it was the Cartier watch. Yeah, and that's just so cool. And from then it started becoming a thing. Before that, it was like you would have clocks in your house, like a grandfather clock, but clocks were only for the rich and the wealthy in like the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. Before that, how did people tell the time? The church, the bell. The bell would go off at certain times. People know, okay, like the bell's going off at 6 a.m. Okay, I know to wake up. The bell's going off at noon. I know it's noon. The bell's going off at dinner time. I know it's dinner time. And that sort of like history has surpassed so many like millennia to now that brands like Rolex that have been around since like the early 1900s, or brands like Vacheron Constantin have been around since the 1700s. It's there's a long, rich history that I really enjoy. And like when you're wearing it on your wrist, you're like, yo, I'm part of that history. And like if you're someone who appreciates that, you'll appreciate watches. Whether it's Rolex, whether it's Casio, whether it's Timex, whether it's whatever Patek, whatever the brand is.
So speaking of obviously Rolex, we have 3 beautiful pieces here.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. Which one of the 3 is your favorite and why?
That's crazy. It's like, they're all so different. They're all okay. So if you're looking for something, the most unique piece on here will be the one on the right. That's the Datejust 41 with the Wimbledon dial, smooth bezel, and oyster bracelet. The reason it's the most unique is because most Datejusts that you see with the Wimbledon dial have the fluted bezel and the Jubilee bracelet. People like the way that looks, the fluted bezel, because of the facets that they're cut. They're basically like little triangles all the way around. It reflects lights because light will reflect off of this surface, then this surface, and it goes because of the angles. It's like one at a time. So it literally like looks like the light is traveling around the dial, and I try to capture that in like the videos that I make. So it has a less popular bezel, which is the smooth bezel, and it has a less popular bracelet, which is the oyster bracelet. In terms of value, probably the most valuable in terms of resale is the one on the very left. That's the two-tone Submariner. So that's the Wimbledon is the reference 126303. The Rolex Submariner, that's the reference 126613LN. The N stands for noir. It's black in French. It's the black dial. If it was the blue dial, it would be the LB. So all these reference numbers have like a code to them. Mm-hmm. That one probably will retain the value the most, probably around 24,000, 24,500. It's also probably the toughest watch on the table. So a Submariner is Rolex's like quintessential dive watch. They invented it like, I don't remember the year. And I don't want to say a wrong year and get like blasted in the comments. But it's water resistant to 300 meters. It started off as a tool watch for like the working man and then kind of became a more luxury item. So because it's a dive watch, it's built to withstand water pressure at 300 meters. Because of that, it's going to be tougher. It'll be thicker. It'll be tougher. It can withstand little bangs on door frames, on objects, day-to-day wear, which is why a lot of people like it. Now, the watch in the middle is called the Yachtmaster. The Yachtmaster is like a fancy Submariner. So you can kind of tell from the name, like Yacht Master, like Submariner, you're going like underwater, right? It's kind of a play on submarine. Yacht Master is kind of like you're on a yacht on the water.
Yeah.
So it, instead of 300 meters of water resistant, it's 200 meters. So what can Rolex do? They can make the case thinner. The Submariner is a 41 millimeter. The Yacht Master is a 40 millimeter. So it's a little bit, the diameter is a little bit smaller. The lugs are a little bit skinnier. They're polished. It's shiny. It's two-tone rose versus the two-tone yellow. But looking at them side by side, they're very similar, and you might not notice these changes if you don't know watches. So I didn't answer your question, but if I had to pick one, maybe the Yacht Master, because it's just so unique, and I love chocolate dials, and it has a brown dial. One watch forever would probably be the Sub, of these three. But like, if you had to ask me right now, like with this fit, like I'd probably take the Yacht Master.
Interesting. And then in terms of obviously dealing in such high ticket sales, being in the luxury industry, also being so young.
Yeah.
How does that correlate? How does that affect your business? Or how do you kind of navigate being so young in such a luxury market where majority of the clients you're dealing with or the people you're dealing with are a lot more older than you, or a lot more wealthier than you, like you said?
Yeah, a lot more wealthier, a lot older. You know what? It's interesting because I've never come across someone being like, oh, like I feel like you're too young, or I feel like you don't know what you're doing. Maybe because they get the sense that I do know what I'm doing and I am knowledgeable. And I feel like that comes across in the way I speak about watches. Because again, I come from a place of passion, not from a place of just like of flipping and of like trying to make money. And often these, like with a lot of luxury purchases, you can kind of branch them into like two buckets. You have people who have made a lot of money and they want to buy something nice for themselves, or it's like an emotional purchase. So someone might have gotten a big bonus at work, or they had a really good quarter in their business, or they've always wanted a watch. So for those people, they'll be like, yeah, I want a Rolex and I want to spend this much, and I'll help them there. With someone who's more emotional, it might be like, hey, I did really well in my business, or I'm graduating from school, or I'm retiring, whatever, and I want this watch. So it's been actually really good. And I think a lot of it is when people do have questions, I have answers because I've spent all this time learning about the industry from just my own curiosity and my own enjoyment. I can see if someone is jumping into this brand new and someone has questions and you're not able to answer anything, that they might doubt you. So as an example, back to the story about the guy who wanted that pink Rolex for his wife. He was like, oh, like I'll give you a deposit, buy it, and then I'll buy it and like give it to me. And at the time, I hadn't done that before. I would always get the money up front and go buy the watch and deliver it. And this guy like literally just like, yo, in like a lack of better way of saying it, just whipped his dick out. He FaceTimed me and he was like, yo, look where I am. And he's showing me like around. He's on some like beautiful resort. He's like, yo, I'm in the Turks. I'm in the Turks and Caicos. This resort I'm staying at is $3,000 a day. He's like, bro, I have money. Like, you don't have to stress. Like, I'm not going to scam you, right? Like, buy the watch. I'll deliver you the cash when I'm back from my vacation. I'm like, cool. So I hung up and I was like, yo, I got to spend all this money. I'm like, yo, it's most of the money in my checking account at the time. Like, I was scared. Whatever, I did it, paid him, and it worked out. And then you kind of like lost that fear. But that was like one moment where the dude was like, he literally said, if you can't even buy this little watch for me, like, I'm unsure of like how good of a businessman are you, or like how stable your business is, or like, do you even know what you're doing? And I'm like, okay, like I have to take those risks. Does that answer your question? I don't even know. I lost the plot a little bit.
For sure. So in terms of those risks that you're saying,
yeah,
are you more so of a go big, go home, like high risk, high reward, or is it more so calculated risks?
I like calculated risks from the start. You can, even those go big, go home risks, like if you can calculate your, how do I say this? With every risk that you take, it should be calculated. You're not going to take a risk without at least knowing the industry. You're not going to jump into something without at least doing your homework. So even though you can take big risks, if you have an understanding of like the consequences of whether it goes right or wrong, you'll be okay. So like I do like to take risks. I like to take calculated risks though. Like I won't purchase a watch off a whim if I don't know the market value. At the same time, I will purchase a watch if I know it'll go up in value later on, or if I know I have a client for it. So it really comes to like, I'm the type of person where like I'll do my homework first. and then I'll take the risk.
Yeah. Now, in terms of, let's say, like buying a watch and holding it, like when are you able to tell when to flip one,
Yeah.
hold one, or even just buy or sell?
It all depends on your business model. So I know some people, they will buy a watch, they'll wait a month, they'll wait 2 months, and then they'll sell it. And they'll usually do the same one over and over and over again because it's something that either they have clients for or they have watch dealers that need it. It also depends on the type of watch. If you are getting a vintage model, the idea with vintage pieces is they go up in value slowly over time, almost like a stock. If you buy right and you buy the right model in the right condition, with the right like box and papers and all that sort of thing, then you would like want to buy and hold. With modern pieces like this, I like to flip quick. So I'll if I get a really good deal, I'll buy it and I'll stock it, and I'll buy pieces that I know will sell fast. So most Datejusts, blue, green, black, white will sell quick. Some Mariners sell quick. Yachtmasters don't, but like this is like I have a very good deal on this. And Wimbledon sell quick. So anything that has like a nickname, I'm like, it will either sell quickly or it will sell.
Yeah.
So I'm more comfortable buying those, holding them, and selling them or flipping them. A lot of times it's really finding the clients first. So I'm like, oh, like I know you two guys. You guys both want a Santos? Okay, I'll go find a Santos if I don't have one in stock. And that way it mitigates the risk of like sitting on a watch. Like I've had watches where I've sat on them for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And you just now, it sucks because you have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 locked up in this one piece that you can't use to buy other pieces, and you're waiting on. So sometimes you'll lose a little bit of money. So I like at that point, if you lose your client changes their mind, or the market changes, sometimes you just have to cut your losses and be able to reinvest that into other areas.
Okay. What are some vintage pieces that you have?
I personally don't have any vintage pieces, but vintage pieces that I've bought for my clients would like any 5-digit GMT. So the way reference numbers work, currently there's 6 digits, and they all pertain to certain things. So for example, a Datejust, 126, the 126 means that's the most recent reference. And I believe that was 2018, 2019, around there, let's say. Before that, it was 116. Now, the next 3 digits denote the material and the bracelet. So if it's a 126 300, the 300, the 00 means that the 3 means that's a 41, and the 00 means that's an oyster. If it's a 200, that means it's a 36 millimeter. If it's a 333, that means it's a yellow gold 41 millimeter. If it's 331, it's rose gold. And then the same thing, 233, 234. Now, if it's a 334, that means it's a steel model. So the 5-digit GMTs right now are a 126710. And then they'll have a 4-digit code, a letter code after that. It'll BLNR, BL Bleu NR Noir, which means that's the Batman.
Yeah.
If you do BLRO, that's a Bleu Rouge, Blue Red, that's the Pepsi. Some are GRNR, Gray Noir. That's the black and gray model that came out, the Bruce Wayne. So I sold a couple of 5 digits. One is it's 16710. It's a little older model for early 2000s, late 90s. A Pepsi or a Coke. So a Coke, which is a discontinued bezel now, is black and red. The Pepsis are blue and red. And they can retain their value. So like, for example, the Coke I sold was a collector's piece. It was never worn, not a single scratch on it. Full set, box, papers, warranty cards, everything, both tags, the original receipt that the owner had it from. He just kept it in a safe forever. A watch like that will go up in value because of the era it came from. The Coke is discontinued. The watch itself is smaller. The lugs are smaller. Everything is a little bit more petite. That's an example of something that I've sold. Other things, it really depends on the rarity. So like the craziest or most expensive watch ever sold was so there's a guy named Paul Newman. He was like a race car driver, and there were Daytonas made that had like a flat white kind of like milky almost dial that he kind of like popularized because he used to wear them. And they got the nickname the Paul Newman Daytona. So Paul Newman Daytona sold recently. I think it was like in 2017, 18 for like 17 million.
Wow.
Yeah, right. It's a vintage model. Back in the day, Rolex couldn't give those watches away. They were selling at discounts. Nobody wanted them. So depending on if you can buy right, those vintage models can explode in value. And a lot of guys who know about history or know about the market will buy one or two like vintage pieces with the expectation that within the next 10 years, like they'll make money. Or at the very, very least, like they'll break even.
Whoa. What's one watch you think now will kind of be like that Paul Newman's watch in the near future?
Probably, if you're looking at modern pieces only, probably like the Hulk. So it's a Rolex Submariner, steel. Hulk is green. So it was an anniversary watch for the subs, I think, 50th anniversary. Green dial, green bezel. It was only made for a few years before it was discontinued. I think that's a watch that if you can snag, will probably retain its value or go up. Other than that, like anything that's discontinued is probably a good idea. So like some Datejust like motif dials, they don't make anymore. There are some like laser etched dial where it says like Rolex over and over and over again. Could be something that goes up. In terms of modern, like that would probably be my best guess.
So obviously we met originally on social media, seeing
Yeah.
your videos.
Yeah.
Big consumer of the watch industry on
For
social
sure.
media for sure. And coming across your page, one of the first things that stuck up to me was how your social media presence.
Right.
Taking that very seriously, which is obviously the new modern way to kind of do business, to advertise, building your own, not only your business brand, but your own self-image, your own self-brand, right? How
Yeah.
important is that to you in your business?
Yeah.
Tying that into obviously networking. So where do most of your sales come from? Is it from the advertising or is it from the networking?
That's been like the lifeblood of the business, honestly.
Yeah.
Because up until I started making those, everything was word of mouth. So it's as far as my business would only go as far as the people that I speak to, and if anyone else that I've spoken to also passes the word along. Once I started posting those videos, it gives you credibility. They're like, hey, I can see a person doing something, and okay, so like they're actually doing what they're saying. Two, I was showing actual clients who actually bought from me. That again, it builds credibility and it builds honesty. Like, hey, this person actually bought from this guy. He's not faking it, and you can also go speak with that person that like I tagged in the video or was willing to make a video with me. And then three, most of my sales have been organic. So most of them have been through my either TikTok videos that people find on their For You page or my Instagram reels. They'll be like, hey, I saw your TikTok. Like, I want to buy this watch. So like probably 90% have been organic and the other 10% have been through word of mouth or referrals. So like it changed everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I would have naturally thought that coming into this business, especially because they're such high ticket items, that it would all just be through the power of networking.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that 90% of your sales come through social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's been entirely social
So what's
media.
your kind of business model on the social media aspect in terms of posting, advertising, scheduling, generating content ideas?
Yeah.
How does that kind of go about?
I would say for anyone starting out, the best thing to do is whatever niche you're in, whether for it's watches, whether it's media, whether it's wealth management, cars, whatever. Find the people who are doing the best in that market on social media. Like pick like 5 people, 10 people, and then go find their best view, like their videos with the best views, the most likes, the most comments, and literally just copy them. Like copy the blueprint because they have probably figured out what to do right, and that could be either copying how they shoot the videos, whether it's face, no face, is it B-roll, what kind of hooks are they using, how are they cutting it, is it like quick, are they 10-second videos, 30-second videos, and then the type of content that they're doing. So if you look at watches, for example, Moses, the jeweler, does a lot of live negotiations and a lot of flipping, right? That's one niche. Vukum does a lot of fast flips, like, hey, let's go out and let's go sell this watch. Some people, like Teddy Baldessar, do a lot of videos on the knowledge, like teaching people about history and about brands. And as he grew, now he can get exclusive videos with like the CEO of like Grand Seiko or like the head of product, not product placement, but just like product development. So it's kind of figuring out what do you want to do, pick a couple ideas, try it, copy it, run it, and then see what performs well for you and your audience. And then based on that, you can kind of choose what you want to do. With me, I liked the videos that like Vukum made because it's like him actually going out and filming himself doing it. And my perspective was for someone to not, let alone give you $10, $20, people willing to give you tens of thousands of dollars, like there has to be some sort of trust. So my goal going into social media was I want to build trust, honesty, and transparency. If I can show people that you can trust me to do business, I'm going to be honest with everything I do, regardless of how much I sell it for, my profits, all of that. And everything is laid out for you to see from start to finish. You will have no doubt in your mind that I can do what I say I do. I have the evidence to back it up. And you can go get further proof from whoever else, from third-party sources. Like, you don't have to listen to me. Here's everyone on my page. Go message anyone. And it's worked. And people have trusted me. People have messaged me like, hey, I see your videos. I know this person that you did business with. I know this watchmaker that you went to. Can you find this for me? Or I have this for sale. Like, can you sell this for me?
Interesting. So then you would you're alluding to the fact that you've developed your own kind of companies or your own business, like philosophy. And you've kind of showed that through your content, the way you've done business. So how important is it for someone to kind of find their why in business and sticking to it?
I think if you can find your why, you will build an audience and you will find people who will support your business. Like, why are you doing it? What's the story? Like, the reason people will come to you is that human to human connection.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, otherwise, like, AI could sell anything, or like you can do faceless videos and sell things. But I think people like people that they can relate to. People like to connect to a story. People like to be part of a story. Like, people might want to buy a watch. Like, people will buy watches from Moses that are more expensive than something I'm selling just because it's Moses. I want to be part of his story. I want to be part of his brand. So by having a why are you doing this, you're able to connect to your audience, and people who connect with you and can relate to you will naturally be drawn to you. And those are the people that you want to do business with, because there will be fewer like roadblocks along the way. If someone comes to you and you guys like don't get along, or like your stories don't match up, they probably won't do business with you, right? It's kind of like there's a saying about like a restaurant where, like, if you go to a restaurant once and the food is terrible, are you gonna go back? Maybe, maybe not. If you go back again and it's terrible twice, you're never gonna go back.
Yeah.
So with any business, whatever person is coming to you, if you can provide good service or at the very least provide knowledge, and they feel good about like leaving, whether the conversation or the sale or whatever, it's very likely that they'll come back. Yeah. And that comes from like the why. Like, why should I support you? Why do I care? Why do you deserve my money? Why do you deserve my time? So by having that laid out clearly, you will know how to grow your business. You will know who to reach out to, and then you'll have direction. And direction is extremely important, because otherwise you're kind of like, you're just like navigating a room with a blindfold.
Okay. Now, back to obviously social media. When you first started, you said you're stubborn and stuff, right? You were really like, you had that fire in your belly to kind of just go in the watch business. Now, posting your first ever social media post. Yeah. Did you have any fear?
Oh, I was tripping, bro. Yeah. I was tripping so hard. I'm like, oh, people are gonna judge me. People are gonna make fun of me. Like, is this like worth it? Like, all just kind of like the typical fears that people have. Yeah. Like, I'm putting myself out there, and you have fear of like other people's judgment. So I thought all of those things. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get clowned. People are gonna be like, yo, what is this guy doing? Like, yo, you're not like that. Like, you know, you don't have money like that. Like, you're trying to be someone you're not. Surprisingly, it was like the other way. People thought it was really cool, and people thought like, oh, like you're trying something new. I also had the benefit that I posted my first reel on Instagram, and it blew up for me, like in terms of like it hit like 40,000 views or something in like the first day. That's a lot. Like within an hour, it was sitting at like, I was at like 1,200 or like 2,000 and 3,000 and blowing up. I'm like, whoa, like that was almost like validation. Like, yo, something's working. Like something's right. And that was like very encouraging. So after that, had that video gone terribly, maybe I would have been less reluctant to do so. I don't know. But again, being stubborn, I think I would have kept going, because I have had ideas and I have posted a series and it did terribly. Like all like 5 or 6 videos in that series did terribly, but it doesn't matter, because like if there's instead of 40,000 people seeing it, if only 400 people saw it, I only need 1 or 2 people to message me for a sale, and it's worth it. So I think I think a little bit of luck was involved.
Yeah.
I did do a lot of planning though for that video. It was like, hey, come with me to the Rolex store. So I picked like a trending audio. I tried to copy videos in that sort of niche and that style, which I think played to my strength. And also, if for people that don't know, when you start a new account and you post for the first time, Instagram will push a lot of traffic to your page because they want you to stay on the app and they want you to keep going. So that probably had a role to play. Because when I posted on my main page, like Jag the Watch Dealer, it didn't do like nearly as well. But yeah, it was huge. Like social media has been huge.
Well, that's amazing. And then in terms of, obviously, when you're approaching more so like the negative side of dealing with all of these, being on social media, having your face out there, and even the security side of things too, people knowing that you might have expensive watches like this on hand at any time. How do you kind of deal with that?
So again, it comes back to moving safe and operating safely. So as an example, like I never have watches at home. If I ever do have inventory, it's always in a bank. It's in a safety deposit box, and it's in multiple safety deposit boxes. It's not just one. I'll never have a watch like in my car, right? Just sitting there. If I'm going around, like I keep myself protected, right? Like I always have something on me to protect myself. If I'm going to a deal, I'm never alone. I went out and I got my firearms license. And now I own a couple of firearms at home. And just in case that someone does decide to try and break in, I can protect myself, right? That is obviously like the negative side of it. And like there's a funny story. So like it's funny because you're putting my face out there, people do recognize me. And 99.99% of the time, it's a good interaction. Like, yo, I recognize you somewhere. Do you make videos? Oh, yeah, you make watch videos. Like, oh, I follow you, blah, blah, blah. But there was one instance where I was at the gym and it was pretty late. And this guy came up to me and he was like, yo, like, I recognize you from somewhere. And I'm like, oh, I don't recognize you. Like, where did we meet? Was it at a party or something? He's like, no, I saw you online. He's like shaking my hand. And he's like, yo, like, you're a watch dealer, right? I'm like, yeah. And this guy's just like not letting go. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like I'm a watch dealer. He's like, oh, cool. Like, yo, do you have any watches on you? Like right now, what are you wearing on your wrist? Right? And he's looking at me all wide-eyed. Like, yo, what are you wearing on your wrist? Do you have anything in your car? Like, yo, can I see something right now? And I'm like, no, I don't. And I'm like took my hand away. And I'm like, yo, like, thanks for watching my videos. I'm gonna go back to my workout. But then now, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, this guy is acting very shady. He's trying to figure out, do I have something on me in my bag, in my car? Like, I'm just gonna keep watching my back to make sure. So there are times like that. So it's being vigilant of where you are, how you're moving around. And again, putting those like precautions. And again, like if someone finds out where I live and they think I have watches on me, there's nothing stopping anyone from breaking in. And it's like trying to get a firearms license. Or even if I'm driving around, like there'll be times where if I'm meeting somewhere, I'll take 2 or 3 laps just to make sure no one's following me. There's been times where I'm leaving a jewelry store and I get the inkling that, yo, I think this car's been behind me for a little while. Let me make a couple of turns, see if they're still following me. So that comes with the trade, and it's something that I'm very like highly aware of. And any watch dealer, any jewelry store person will tell you, like, those are just, you have to put in those safety mechanisms.
What would you say is the bright side of the business?
The bright side of the business, bro, seeing the watches, having the watches with you all the time. I get to see, like, think about it. Like, if I was to try and like own all these watches, I have to shell out all this money. But now because I'm in the business, I can have them at home because I'm like enjoy them, see them, wear them, feel them before it goes on to its newest owner. And being like a watch enthusiast, it's like a dream. It's like being a car guy selling cars and like, yo, you have a Ferrari 458 for the day. Next week you have a Huracan. After that you have a 765. Then you have a Rolls Royce, and you get to enjoy them for a period of time before they go on to the new owner. So when you do, like, you do buy them with your own money. So like you're an owner for a little period of time. That is amazing by far. I thought it would be actually the best part of the business, but it's not. The best part is actually the people that I meet. And the reason is I'm like, oh, like you're in a position to buy like a very luxury item, very expensive piece for yourself. What do you do? Like, and I've met like the craziest variety of people. Like, again, like TV movie producer, lawyers, entrepreneurs, just people in software, people in tech, people in like car detailing businesses, like painters, like developers. And I kind of will always pick their brain. Like, hey, do you have a second to talk? Like, what did you do to get to this stage? They'll put me on some game. They'll give me advice. And most of them, a lot of those clients end up becoming friends. A lot of them will then be like, yo, I really like you. I'm going to send like my friends to you. And it comes back to, again, like a human connection, because you're buying a watch, you're probably into watches a little bit. I'm into them. So we can connect on that topic. And then from that topic, you form some sort of little bond, little relationship. It's not just transactional. And then you can start going on to other hobbies. Oh, like, what else do you do? Like, oh, I play golf. I'm into cars, or I like cologne, or like I love to travel. And I would have never been able to meet these people had I not gone into this business. And it really widened my horizons in terms of like what's possible in so many different niches.
So being obviously around all these prestigious type of people,
Yeah.
meeting all these wonderful people with different stories, if there's one thing that you can say that you've learned from all these different interactions, what would it be?
All these different interactions. That's such a good question, because like I want to say something profound. I don't know if it's going to be profound. I think every single person is like genuine, I would say. Like they're all just like true, honest people who have done well for themselves. They're very driven. They're very hardworking. It's kind of like a common trait amongst everyone. They all have a vision and a goal that they're trying to achieve, and they're relentless. Like it doesn't matter what comes their way. Like they won't stop until they achieve their goal. Regardless of what they're doing and what their niche is. And they've all had like different timelines. So everyone's on their own timeline. Like don't compare yourself to anyone. Just keep doing what you're doing, and like the universe will kind of like set the path for you.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, now lastly, the final question.
Yeah.
What does the tip of the iceberg mean to you?
Ooh, what does the tip of the iceberg mean to me? Let's see. When someone says that's just the tip of the iceberg, it's like that's just the cherry on top. Like you see the cherry, you don't see the icing, you don't see the cupcake, you don't see the baker in the background making everything together, baking it, assembling it. The tip of the iceberg is just the result of the action and the experience that you don't see and you don't know about. So you could think of it as it's like a painting, but you know nothing about how long it took, the effort it took, the years of experience that the painter had behind it to even get to that level to make that painting. Mm-hmm. It's the tip of the iceberg could be the end result of like blood, sweat, and tears over years and years and years, and you as an observer just get to see a tiny little snapshot of that work or of that item or that person's journey. So you can only appreciate it so much. But like for me, it makes me wonder like what else is there, and it goes back to like that curiosity mindset. Like, oh, I see the tip of the iceberg. Like, but what's under the water? What else? What's there that I can't see? Like, thinking about it from an ice perspective, how many millions of years did it take for that ice to form? Mm-hmm. Was it part of a glacier? Was it part of an ice wall? Whatever. So, I think it's a tip of the iceberg is a snapshot in time that I'm observing without knowing or understanding the years of experience, the years of drawbacks, the years of victories, wins, big or small, that I may never know, but all resulted in the top. That's it.